What scientific fact or theory scares you to your bones? Story 1. That we have no idea what the exact criteria for or nature of consciousness is. We obviously know that humans are conscious. We assume that comes from the brain since that's the part that does the thinking. But we also know that disconnecting the two hemispheres of the brain can cause one half of someone's body to act without the knowledge of the other. So what happens to the consciousness when you saw someone's brain in half? Which half is you? Supposedly, all the cells in your body are replaced within 7 years, including your brain. So which part exactly is your consciousness attached to? Or hey, what happens when you die? At which point exactly do you stop being conscious? Or worse, what if consciousness can't be destroyed and you never stop being conscious? How about even worse? What if it's the opposite and consciousness is incredibly volatile? What if it's attached to nothing in particular and you die every time you fall asleep, and a new version is spontaneously created every time you wake up with all your memories, thinking that it's the same you as before, giving the illusion of continuity? What if instead of dying when you sleep and being created when you wake up, what if you die every instant, and a new you is created the very next instant, constantly? What's even the requirement for something to become conscious? What if everything's conscious? What if not everyone is conscious? Would you even be able to know? What if only 1% of the total human population actually has a consciousness? Hell, what if you're the only conscious being in the entire universe? What if nothing's actually real and you're just some random assemblage of atoms formed by some insane coincidence of incredibly rare events that's hallucinating the entire world in the fraction of a second that it exists? On the plus side, at least we'll all have the answer to the what happens after death question eventually. Story 2. Antimicrobial resistance. What's really crazy is, we owe our modern prosperity, especially in the US, to antibiotics. Each particular antibiotic only works for a short period of time before pathogenic bacteria becomes resistant to it. We've been through numerous different antibiotics since the discovery of penicillin, and pathogenic bacteria have become resistant to almost all of them. We're running out of antibiotics that are still effective. About 4 or 5 years ago, I learned that there were babies born in India who had infections that were resistant to all known types of antibiotics. There's a good chance that in our lifetimes, we'll see people dying from common infections due to the lack of effective drugs to treat them. Story 3. The Carrington Event. In 1859, the sun spewed a huge amount of highly charged plasma that brushed against the Earth's magnetosphere and caused every electronic device on Earth to receive a huge electric shock. At the time, every electronic device on Earth consisted of a few telegraph machines. Some simply ran even while disconnected from their power supply for a while, some melted. If an event like this were to happen today, we're overdue for one. It would pretty much destroy every single electronic device, including all of the infrastructure used to generate and distribute electricity. There would be widespread blackouts everywhere, and no way to contact anyone to call for help or find out what state the rest of the world is in, and no way to fix it other than recreating centuries worth of scientific advancements by hand. Story 4. The dark forest theory as a solution to the Fermi paradox. If the universe is so big, why haven't we detected alien life yet? Dark forest theory says that paranoid, advanced alien civilizations may find it convenient to destroy new life forms like us, simply so there's no chance we're a threat to them in the future. For an advanced alien civilization, destroying Earth would be as simple as sending an object our way at near light speed. And so the reason we haven't detected alien life yet may be because A, they've learned to advance their technology cautiously and quietly, or B, they were detected and killed off. Any day now, the various emissions of humankind may be picked up by that paranoid alien race who could be preparing to send, may have already sent, an object our way at near light speed. Story 5. The zero-energy universe hypothesis. Essentially, if dark energy can account for the missing variable in the calculation, it states that the net total energy of the universe is actually zero. This means the entire universe is actually nothing at all. We're just caught inside some kind of quantum fluctuation that actually doesn't exist. It's like seeing the universe from the perspective of a photon. Photons don't experience time at all, and thus are absorbed in the same instant they are emitted. To the photon emitted at the beginning and will be absorbed at the end, the universe both began and ended in the exact same moment. It's entirely plausible the universe didn't just come from nothing, but it is itself nothing. Story 6. The fact that everyone literally has a 50-50 chance of getting some form of cancer at some point in their lives, and that there's an additional 50-50 chance you'll die from it. I am a hypochondriac anyway, but I have always been terrified of cancer from the day I learned what it was, especially because so many of them can be silent until you find a lump, and then suddenly you have months, weeks, days to live. It's unfair that you can literally be the healthiest you can possibly be, take care of every inch of your body, and not even have cancer in your family, but it doesn't matter. You can get it anyway. I truly feel like it's nature's cruelest way of controlling our population, almost like the Thanos of the universe. Story 7. False vacuum decay. We think the current vacuum state of the universe is stable, but there is a possibility that it is not stable. If at any location in the universe the vacuum state were to decay to a more stable state, it would destroy the universe. A shock wave traveling at the speed of light would expand outward and reset the vacuum state of everything it engulfed. Matter would disintegrate, and since it would be traveling at the speed of light, we wouldn't see it coming. We'd be going about our lives, and as the shock wave passed, we would suddenly no longer exist in any form. There is no way to stop this if it happened, and we wouldn't even know it was happening until it hit us. Story 8. A single large nuclear weapon, if detonated at the right height in our atmosphere, could burn out every computer chip, every electrical transmission line, and every electrical component connected to any antenna or length of wire in over half of the United States. Instead of the Stone Age, half the USA would revert to the late 19th century. In an instant. The existence and effect of electromagnetic pulse, EMP, electrical surge from an atmospheric nuclear blast, is well known and not debated. Imagine every cell phone, ATM, car computer chip, Peloton, POS terminal, traffic signal, GPS, and Wi-Fi device was suddenly bricked and rendered useless. Imagine the entire electrical grid vaporized and every power pole transformer blown to bits. Imagine not just the time and effort needed to repair downed power lines, but the time and manufacturing needed to replace every burnt-out transformer and power line necessary to rebuild an electric grid from scratch. Imagine a city without power, no sewage pumps, no tap water pumps, no police or fire radios, no street lights, no ambulance radios, no computers to direct banks to pay vendors, no public service vehicles operational because they all rely on computer chips that are burned out. And imagine that there are no trucks to bring in what's needed: transformers, power line wire, food, insulin, baby formula, bandages, newspapers, water, replacement parts, vegetables, light bulbs, or cell phone tower electronics. The unbridled rioting, chaos, and violence that would follow scares me to my bones. Story 9. Our oceans are almost dead. We are fishing ourselves into extinction, and no one seems to know or care. Ooh, go vegan, try Meatless Monday. Number this won't help. Overfishing is way worse for us than farming, worse than chopping down the Amazon. The ocean takes most of our CO2, it helps regulate our global temperatures. There is corruption at every level in fishing. Those are sustainably caught stickers? Lies. The companies pay money for the logo. There's actually no difference in how they're caught, and millions of dolphins, sharks, whales, seals, turtles, and more are caught and die as bycatch every day. The overfishing means less fish, so places like China go out killing whales and dolphins because they're competition. The lack of fish means poorer places like Africa can't feed their coastlines because their little wooden fishing boats can't compete with the enormous murder machines other countries have in their waters. There are literal scientific papers which state this was a direct cause of the Somalian pirates. They were all starving and their waters were being invaded. Fishing cannot be done sustainably. You can't raise healthy fish in a captive ocean net. They end up with parasites which they pass on to wild fish. The suppliers feed salmon dyeing agents to make them look pink and healthy, but the waste is enormous. The ocean's ecosystem is crashing as we speak. The destruction of apex predators is throwing the betta fish out of balance, which means there's species extinction as their food supplies disappear. Plastic straws in the sea are the absolute least of our issues. Most of the plastic in the ocean today is plastic fishing nets. Story 10. This will probably be lost in the sea here and is inspired by the Young Wizards series by Diane Duane. Entropy is the true enemy of all life. Even if we solve cancer and cure the disease of aging, our biggest problem is the expansion of matter and energy. The true entropy is the distance increasing between things. So over time, matter and energy are spread over an increasing distance. The death of all life then is going to be a very slow one. that is eventually caused by matter and energy being spread over such great distance that it can no longer be overcome. The only known theory to solve this would be localized, perhaps galaxy or solar system, halting of universal expansion, or somehow stopping universe expansion everywhere. There are untold consequences if we do this. There are untold consequences if we don't. To me, it's an unsolvable problem because how will our existence as specks of dust on a cosmic level hope to halt the expansion of the entire universe?